Hello guys, my name is Rumbie and I'm from Zimbabwe.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is NAFULA. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching my videos. So DV lottery winner from Zimbabwe, right?
Yes.
So when did you win the green card lottery? What year?
2023, DV 2023.
Oh, you applied in 2021
yes,
and then you won in 2022.
Yes.
And then you're right here in 2023.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So let's start. How many times did you apply before you won?
I applied about 2 times before I won. The third time, that's the one which I won.
So you won the third time?
Yes.
So the first time you did not win, the second time?
The second time I did not win. The third year I did not apply because that was the COVID year. Then the next year I applied, then fortunately, yep, that's when I won.
Okay, yeah, congratulations. Now you're here.
Yep, now I'm in America.
Now soon you'll be an American citizen. You'll be like, hey guys, yeah, what's up?
I'm Americanized.
Okay, so let's talk about the whole process. So
yes.
From the application, who took that picture for you? The one you used when you won, not when you did not win.
Oh,
or maybe you can talk about even when you did not win.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The times you did not win, who took that picture?
All the time, basically all the time I've always had my pictures taken from the photo studios.
So you did the same photo studio for all the 3 times?
Yes, same photo studio for all the times, yeah.
Okay. So you applied from, the photo was in the photo studio, and then what about the application? Did you use your phone? Did you go to a cyber? What did you use to apply?
Oh yes, I just used my phone. I used to apply by myself on my phone, yeah. It takes like 3 minutes just to apply.
It's free.
People
pay people a lot of money. Guys, if you want to pay me a lot of money to apply for you, I'll go ahead and do that, but you don't have to.
For you, yeah.
Okay, so you applied on the phone. So when was that? Do you remember what day? I know sometimes it's hard to remember. Usually it's between October and November. So when was that? Do you remember?
I think it must have been October 12th, if I'm not mistaken, but it was in October. I usually apply a few days after they open. I don't like using the first 1-2 days because
everybody's applying.
Up. So yeah, so I don't want to make a mistake, upload, then think it's loading, then think did it go through, did it not go through?
Yeah.
So usually I apply after about 2-3 days when it's open, yeah. So I think it was around October 12th, yeah.
So you applied October 12th, and you applied using a phone. You did it
phone.
all yourself. Photo, you took in a studio, and then you applied using your phone. So when did you find out you won the green card lottery?
I found out that I won the green card lottery in May 2022 when the results came. I think it was a few days after the results came. I'd even forgotten about it, that the results were released already. Then a few days later, then my friend reminded me of the results. That's when I was like, oh yeah, let me go and check. So when I checked that, I saw you've been randomly selected.
Whoa.
To proceed.
Girl, so how was the feeling at that time? Twice you did not win.
Yeah.
And then this time you get the letter. So what was your feeling at that time?
I was so excited. I was really happy. I was so shocked.
Wow.
I was somewhat still not believing it. I spent I think almost 5 good minutes just looking at the results and just looking at it yeah.
You're like, is it real? Is it real?
Yeah, I was so excited. Yeah.
So after you won, you find out you won, what next steps did you take? What did you do?
So the next step that you will take after you win is to to fill up the GS260. So because they will give you a link when the results come, they'll give you a confirmation with the confirmation number. After you check, you get a case number. After the case number, that's when you use that case number to apply for a GS260. So that's when I filled it. But I filled mine, I think it was around July, a month later. Yeah.
Oh, a month later. So July, you filled your DS260. Yes. And then so in the DS260, how did you get a host at that time?
A friend of mine actually referred me to someone, so from the internet. So from there I had to pay the money, then they'll just charge for the address. So that's how I got.
So that's the address, not the hosting. They just charge you first for the address.
For the address, yes. So I had to pay online, then for the address, yes.
All
so
right.
That's the reason why I actually delayed to fill in the GS260 because of the address.
Yeah, because you need a lot of people don't realize that they'll need the address. True. For the DS260, they just win and just sit around, not knowing you need an address to complete your DS260. Yes. So now you fill out the DS260. That was in July of 23. So when were you scheduled? Now, when did you get your 2NL?
The 2NL came in 2023 and June also. It came in June also.
Wow.
Yeah. So it came like the following year in June. That's when I was now scheduled for an interview. They sent a link from the US government. They sent a link in my email, which that's the other thing. You're supposed to be like extra careful and checking your emails, because I was just randomly going through my emails and then it comes saying no reply. So I was thinking that maybe it's like a spam email or something. I was just about to delete it. Then I was like, oh, let me just open. So when I opened, that's when I saw that there's a link that you have to go and open and see the trend now. So yep,
because that's how people get scammed, because they say, oh, you know, like we'll call you, or maybe you get an email that's not from the Department of State, just a random email from somebody. They're like, oh, you won, you need to pay money before you continue with the process. So that's how scammers get to you. But then you have to be careful about the email you put in your DS260, because everything will be sent to that email.
Directly to that email, yes.
Okay, so now you get a 2NL, and then when were you scheduled for the interview? What month?
So the 2NL, when it came from in June, it scheduled me for the interview in August, on August 10th to be precise. But then yes, so they said it was around the 7:30 interview in the morning. But then a few weeks later, when you're close to the interview, specifically from the embassy in Zimbabwe, usually it will send you like another email with the same date, but it had like a different time stamp. So that's one thing that you also have to. So
they send you two. What did you say? So one, you get like an interview date, and then the other one you get a time.
Yes, it was the same interview date, but it had like a different time slot.
Oh.
So it's the same date but different time slot. The one that comes from this side, and then the one that comes from the US embassy direct.
Yeah, that's interesting, because like, you know, if you just check the first email, and then they send you the second email and you don't pay attention.
Exactly, then you're...
So that's for Zimbabwe, because a lot of other countries, they don't do that.
Yes, that's for Zimbabwe specifically.
Okay, so now we've talked about the DS260. So did you fill it yourself or somebody helped you?
Yes, I filled the DS260 all by myself. It's also good to fill, because the instructions are just right by the side of the form. So
the form, the instructions right on the side. So like if you want to do it, you can do it yourself. You don't need to pay somebody $300 to fill your DS260. You can actually do it yourself.
You can just fill it by yourself. Yes.
People say ignorance is expensive. So if you don't research, you don't study, you don't read stuff, you're gonna be paying people to do something that you can actually do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your 2NL. What was included in your 2NL, and how did it come?
From the US government, they will send you through the email. They'll send you the link. So after that, you just have to check for updates. Then from the updates, that's when you see that you have now been scheduled for the interview on this date.
So every single time you go to this link that they sent you to check if it's updated.
Not really. I'll just waited for the email to come. So when the email came, it would now inform you that you have updates. So that's when I would go to the link that they sent you.
Get the website, and then you open up your...
from the link, that's when you see the date of the interview and the interview embassy that you're going to be using.
So you see the interview date, and then the name of the embassy.
That you're going
what else was in there? Do you remember? Like information about your medical, was it in there as well?
Not really. That one would come from the second email that will come directly from the US embassy in Harare. The one that had the same date and the different time. That's when they'll send you information about the medicals and the police clearance, because you also have to do like a police clearance. So for the police clearance part, you have to do one from Zimbabwe. If you're born and raised in Zimbabwe, you have to do like a Zimbabwean police clearance. Then if you've lived in any other country outside of Zimbabwe for more than 6 months, you also have to get a police clearance from that
country. All those countries, even if it's 5. A lot of people are asking like, okay, I lived somewhere like 20 years ago. Yes, if you live there more than 6 months, you will need police clearance from there. You will need a
police clearance from there. And then, in the medical information, they'll also tell you like the medical panels that they use. They only have like 2 officialized medical panels. There's one in the city center, like in town. I think it's Jason Chinamano and something, but that's Dr. Poston. They'll give you like all the details. Then the second one is in Mount Pleasant. That's Dr. Rosaline. She's the one that I used. So the 2 of them.
So they give you the information. This is the medical. Then this is where to go. Do they tell you the exact date you need or when you need to? get those?
Yeah, they will not tell you exactly, but they will just tell you that you need to get like the police clearance before the interview. That's one thing you're supposed to get before the interview. Then the medicals in Zimbabwe specifically, you cannot do the medicals before the interview. You have to wait for the interview first. If you're scheduled for the interview, you wait for the interview, go for the interview. Then after the interview, that's when you can go for the medical, if they give you like a go ahead.
So you have to go, yes. If you pass the interview, that's when you do the medical, which is really good because you save money.
True.
So if you don't get a visa, there's no point of doing the medical.
No point of doing the medicals, exactly, because it's very expensive to do the medical.
And how much was the medical in Zimbabwe?
In Zimbabwe, it's around 700 and something. But the price will slightly differ up and down depending on the vaccinations that you have.
Yeah, so if you have like prior vaccinations with your kid, records of that, then it reduces the cost a little bit.
It will be way much more, yes, easier. If you have like that yellow card that all Zimbabweans have, there is like a yellow card that they give you like at birth with vaccinations. That will also drastically reduce the price as well. I think it will slash out like $200-300.
Wow.
But you have to have kept it because that's like a card you get from birth.
Like you have to,
yeah.
So there's no way to get
your
records
dad,
from the ministry or whatever.
That will take you like forever. I don't know if they've got like.
So you'd rather just pay for it.
Yes, you just rather pay for it and get another one.
But 700 is a lot of money. A lot of countries like 200, 300, 400. $700 is a lot of money.
US dollars, yeah.
US dollars.
That's a lot of money.
So regardless of which medical, you said they sent you to. So regardless of where you went, it would be still $700.
$700 was actually from the cheaper one. So the other one would cost you even way much more if you had to go there. Like the one that I used in Mount Pleasant, that was the one which was cheaper one. So if you go to the other one, it would be slightly more than that. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh wow.
It's expensive.
When you showed up at the medical, what did you need to take at the medical with you?
When you go for your medicals, you just need to bring your letter from the embassy because after you finish your interview at the embassy, they'll give you like a letter for go ahead to do the medicals. Then you just have to go with that letter. You have to go with a form of identification like your ID. Then you also have to take your passport with you. Then you also have to have been vaccinated for COVID.
Also, you need vaccination for COVID before you go. They can't give you COVID vaccine there?
No, they can't. But you can get a COVID vaccine. Let's say if you haven't been vaccinated before, you can be vaccinated, but you have to wait weeks before you start the medicals. So it's better when you already have like.
So you'd rather just get it before you just show up. It's easier for you.
To just forward the process.
So you get like a letter. So your case is different. Like the other embassies, they don't need the letter from the embassy, but then you have to have a letter that you'll be granted a visa first. Like if you're denied, then you're not supposed to.
Then you're not even supposed to, yes.
Okay.
Even if you try to play fast about it and go to the medicals before the interview or without, they'll still not do the medicals. Yeah.
Wow.
Because they need that letter.
Because it's expensive. It's completely understandable.
Yes.
So you went there, you presented all your information there, and then now you are at the doctor's office.
Yes.
So what is the process? Can you just explain a little bit, just like what's the process since you arrived, what the medical involved, and what was the kind of questions that they asked you?
From the medicals, they'll just ask you like generally about your health and stuff like that. If you've got any medication that you've been taking anyhow, then they'll also do like a physical exam, like a whole physical exam. Then that's where they'll give you like vaccinations if you had some that are missing. And yeah, that's just more about. And they'll also conduct tests like. A lot of tests. I think they did.
For the TB, did you get the one they put on your skin, or did they do an X-ray?
They did an X-ray. They do the X-ray one. Yes.
Okay, so you did the X-ray one.
They send you to like a referral place. Then you do like the X-ray one. Yeah.
Okay, so that was pretty much. How long did the medical take? Like the procedure from start to finish?
Procedure. Mine was a bit delayed because there was like a holiday in between. But otherwise, if not for the holiday, it would take like 3-4 days for the medical to be finished. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like very, very long, yeah.
So when they finish the medical, I know like in some embassies they give, in some countries, they'll give you the envelope and then you take to the embassy. But then you already had the interview. So how did the embassy get your medical?
All right, so for the DV lottery specifically, if you finish the medicals, you still have to go back to the doctors. They'll give you like a date where you can come back and collect your result. Then they'll give you the medical still in envelope. Then you have to take it back to the embassy. Then when you take it back to the embassy, you leave it there. That's when you leave your passport again. Because even when you finish the interview, they'll give you your passport because you need it for the medical.
So okay. So like you don't, it's not like the other embassies, you go to the interview and then you leave your passport there. So they give it back because you need it for your medical.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, okay. So they gave you just one copy or they gave you 2 copies?
They'll just give you like 1 copy. Yes.
Okay. And then when you drop it at the embassy, did they give you a copy that you had to travel with or?
Not really, no.
No.
I think that's the same copy that they will put like in the packet for.
Yeah, in the packet, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so they will, after they double check, they put another, they give you another envelope after they put all that information in there. And then they seal it. And then what are you supposed to do with the envelope?
Number 1, not open it.
Do not open it. Like even if your ancestors are speaking to you, that try to open a little bit to see what's in there.
Number 1, not open it.
Do not open that envelope. That's the only thing that will deny you entry in the United States. If they see like even you tempered with a little bit like on the side,
with a seal or something, yeah.
That's it.
You're out. Yeah.
You're out.
Open it, and number 2, of course, carry it with you. And carry it with you in your hand luggage, not in the main suitcases that you put in. Just in your
Make sure it's safe. You secure that. Keep it safe the way you keep your passport, because literally it's your passport to get in.
Passport to come in,
Okay, so now you did your medical. So with your 2NL, let's talk about that. So you got your 2NL medical, you got it in a separate email, but then with your 2NL interview date, the place for the interview, what else was in your 2NL?
Nothing much. I think that's just about it. Yeah.
So where did the affidavit of support, like whatever you need with the affidavit, was it in their 2NL or?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. From the email that they sent, didn't come specifically from the 2NL from the government, because they send an email from the government side with the link. But the 2NL, there is like a separate email that will be sent from the embassy in Zimbabwe. I don't know if it goes for the other interview. That's where they'll tell you, with the same email that they'll tell you need to get a police clearance and then don't do your medicals until after the interview. And the same email that they'll tell you like an interview. They'll also give you like PDF form attached with all the necessary things that you need. So they'll tell you for minimum requirement for you to even go for the interview, you need to have at least a minimum of 5 O-levels. That's for Zimbabwe.
So that's education level.
Education level. Yes.
So 5 O-levels is like high school.
That's like high school Form 4 in Zimbabwe.
But okay.
Yes, in Zimbabwe for Form 4. But for me, I just went with both my O-level and A-level, like Form 4 and Form 6.
Okay. So they don't need Form 6 over there.
They really don't need it. On the form, they say they only need Form 4, like 5 O-levels.
5 O-level. Do they have a minimum grade for those, for your education?
It was written C, yeah, minimum grade.
So you need to have a C in the 5 O-levels, right?
5 O-levels, yeah.
So what if you scored maybe a D, but then you went to university and then you got a degree? Does that make a difference? Do you know?
I wouldn't be like too sure, but
Probably
from my
not.
own, not that I'm encouraging or advising someone, but from my own perspective, if it was like that, I think I would rather still encourage someone to take their chances and still go. It's better for them to deny you than for you to just assume, to work on assumption.
You'll spend all that money, but still. But then the good thing about Zimbabwe, you don't do medicals before so you'll just lose like 330, right? Yeah. So not bad. So how did you go about that?
That's the same lesson, the same PDF that will tell you about minimum requirements of the 5 O-levels, and that you need the affidavit of support. That one will actually be like written in red, like all the instructions.
Of all the instruction, affidavit of support is in red.
Affidavit of support is in red, like in capital, it's written in red. Everything else black and white, but that one is even written in red. So it's written that you need to have like an affidavit of support for you to go through.
And that's mandatory.
That's mandatory in Zimbabwe, yes.
Okay. So with affidavit of support, how did you go about that?
For me, I didn't know anyone that could provide for me like an affidavit of support, so I was referred to a friend. Then the friend referred me to someone. Then someone, it was like a chain.
Like 3 people.
Yeah, like a whole chain.
3 referrals before you got somebody who actually did it.
Someone that actually did it for me. Someone that I actually didn't even know, that I've never like physically met, but they were like from Zimbabwe also, but they were just kind-hearted enough to just say, someone is coming from Zimbabwe, let us help this person.
Which is good. African people, that's what they need to do. Like if you know somebody's from your country, they need affidavit of support, just help them, because you know, at least it's 2 Zimbabweans in America, at least, you know. That will be one more person you're adding here who's gonna go back home and do something. So like now what you're trying to say is like, this person who completed your affidavit of support, you never met, you never spoke to them, you don't know who they are.
No.
Prior to that.
Like met them physically prior to that.
Yeah, because people have like this, you know, crazy idea that you have to know the person giving you affidavit of support. You really don't. Get a random stranger in America, you're like, can you help me out? Fill this form out. Exactly. The embassy don't care. As long as they send you all the, you know, the documentation they need for you to take to the embassy, then you should be all set. Okay, so now you have, you talked about the education level, which is 5 all levels. You know, we don't have all levels in Kenya. Oh, yeah, so you have that, a minimum grade of C. Yes. And then so medical, you talked about that. You said you have to do that after your interview. And then you talked about affidavit of support you were given by a total stranger. Yes. Okay, so now let's talk about your interview date. How did you prepare for that? Where was it? And what kind of questions did they ask you?
I prepared like a lot of questions that I assumed that they'll probably ask. And I also tried, first of all, before I even prepared in my mind, I also tried like searching on YouTube to find if there's like any like Zimbabwean who's gone through the process like on YouTube, just to see like the interview questions and anything like that. So unfortunately I didn't find one.
No Zimbabweans. Yeah. Why don't you have YouTube channels? You're scared in America. You know, in your country they have like, they scare you guys over there. You come here, you don't think you can speak up. Yeah, you can speak up. No, start your own channel. You see Rumbie's here, she's from Zimbabwe, she's speaking up. So you didn't find any resources online, like on YouTube, about like how to process the interview in Zimbabwe? No. So what did you do to prepare then?
So I just made up questions in my head that I assumed that they would ask me. I made up like a lot of them that I assumed they would ask me, yeah. But then I went ahead and went for the interview. When I went for the interview, the process was actually like so fast. It was actually really fast. Only the waiting time before you get called in, that's the one which is a little bit long. Of course, there'll be like a lot of people there. They'll also be interviewing like other immigrant visas. So yeah, by the time they call you in, by the way, when you go for the interview, you need to, besides your passport, you also still need to bring your government issued ID just for entrance into the embassy.
So without that ID, you can't get in just with your passport?
You can get in just with your passport, but the process will take long and like passing through.
Oh, so just come with your national ID. So you took your national ID, you had the appointment letter, right?
Yes, the appointment letter to prove your appointment letter, your ID, and your other documents, like your supporting document. I also brought like a physical copy of the I-134, and then I brought, I think, and my educational certificates. Those are the ones that you're supposed to bring, and the certificates are supposed to be original forms, not photocopies.
So with your certificate, I know in Kenya it's a little bit different. You have to go to the Department of Education to send them directly to the embassy.
Oh, okay.
In Zimbabwe, do you just get them from nowhere, like from whatever you got in the past? What if you forge them, like you have like certificate?
I think they have a way of confirming those results. I'm not too sure, but you just bring like the original certificate, because usually when you graduate, after some months, they'll give you like a slip when you graduate. Then after some months, the original certificate comes in. So that's the certificate which you go through. So I think if you even try to forge them, they've got a way of finding out.
Yeah, and that's a clear way of like literally like kicking you out of there, denying your visa before it even begins.
Before the process even begins. So yeah, you just bring your original documents with you, and
then were you required to print out the DS-260 confirmation page? Did you need to bring that?
The confirmation page, yes, I brought it with me, but they never asked for it.
Or they never asked for it.
With me, yeah.
So to get through the gate, you need the appointment letter and then your passport and national ID.
Yes.
Just to get in.
Just to get through the gate. Yes.
Okay. So with the affidavit of support, did you need to make a copy, or just the one copy was enough?
I just made one copy just to be safe. But I just made like one copy, but they already had one.
Okay. Yeah. So now you get in, you're sitting down. So take us through the process from there.
So when you get inside, you sit down. Then first, after some time, after you all sit down, because what they will do, when you not get there, they'll just call you like batch by batch. So after you get in, you take your seat, you're all asked to sit down. Then you go to like a different counter where you all pay money, because you have to pay for the visa fee first before you go for the interview.
330, right?
Yes, you have to pay for the visa fee. Then when you pay for it, that's when you go back again, sit down, then you wait until your name is called. Then when you call your name, that's when you go to a different counter. That's when you submit like all your documentations now. They'll just put them like in one file. After that, you have to go back and sit down again and wait. Then when you're called, that's when you go to the counter for like an interview. So when they now called me for the interview, the guy was just typing and doing stuff like reading and stuff, like going through the whole, I think that's when they go through the GS260 and stuff like that, and viewing everything. Then I was never really asked any question. I come to think of it, they never really asked me any question. He just looked at me and said, have you ever been to Alaska? Then I was like, yes, I've been to Alaska before. Then he was like, oh, that's nice, that's cool, okay. And then the conversation ended there. Then later on, when I was now thinking, how did he know? That's when I remembered, oh yeah, I was wearing a jacket that was written Alaska. Then I was like, oh, those people are like so unusual.
And you didn't lie, you really did go to Alaska, so it wasn't like you lied.
Yes,
because if you lie, you're gonna get your visa denied, so you have to tell the truth.
Yeah, now that's when they'll start digging, yeah. So later, that's when I remembered I was wearing a jacket that was branded Alaska. Then I was like, oh, that's why they asked. So they're like,
so they didn't ask you like where you're going, who gave you the FW support, no, nothing.
No,
but you had traveled a lot. You've been in the US a couple times, so
yes, when I was working on the cruise ship.
Yeah, she was working in the cruise ship, so she was making all these stops in the US. So they really knew, like, you know, she didn't get stuck here or didn't like come in and refuse to go back. So they knew like you are good. You work first. They know like you were here for work, which is a plus, and then also you went back to your country. So they know like yeah. Okay, so you, after they didn't ask you any questions, what happened after that? Did they tell you your visa is approved, or how do they relay the information after you interview?
Oh yes, so after the interview, that's when they will tell you that you can now proceed. So that's when you know whether your visa is approved or not, by them telling you that you can now go for your medicals. So if they ask you to proceed and do your medicals, that's when you know that your visa is approved. But then if they do not ask you to go for the medicals, that's when you know,
you know, like that's a done deal, right?
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. So they asked me to proceed for my medicals. That's when I set the schedule, like for like an appointment for the medicals. So yeah.
Okay.
But if you'd also like, that's what I did for Zimbabwe, because most of the times they are like fully booked. If you want to try and save time, because when you're moving like closer to the year end, like the fiscal year end of the DV lottery, because you have to have your visa before the 30th of September.
Yeah, 30th of September.
Yeah, so to save time, when you get like that email from the US embassy telling you like you need to do your police clearance and stuff like that, that's when you can call and just schedule an appointment with the doctors, because you can't walk in. It's not like a walk-in appointment. So that's when you just set an appointment, and your appointment should be after the date of your interview, so that by the time you do the interview, now you're just going for the
so that's a good idea to plan ahead. So like if your interview is like on the 9th, schedule like 10th or 11th, because you know you'll need it anyways.
Yes.
So when you schedule, do you pay for it or you pay after?
After, you pay afterwards at the time of the medicals, yes. So scheduling is just free. So because if you wait until the interview, it will take you more time before you get.
So you had a unique experience than all the other DV lottery winners. Maybe Geoffrey had a close experience like that, but your year, instead of September 30th, they stopped processing September 7th.
Yes.
So tell us how you because your interview was August 10th, right?
Yes.
And then you hadn't gotten your medical done at that time, so you needed to get those done. So how did you make sure you beat the time?
Yes, that's one of the things that you have to set, like your medical appointment, even before the visa interview. That's actually helped me like a lot in saving time, because had I scheduled the interview after the appointment, it would have taken like more time. So that's one. And then two, the other thing is, after the interview, the medicals were finished, we did the medicals, and then the results to come back. That's when it took like a bit of a delay, because in Zimbabwe we had like elections and stuff. So most of the facilities were actually closed. So delayed a little bit, yeah. So after the medicals got finished, then I had to take them back to the embassy. Then you have to wait for the embassy to now re-pick up your case again and just go through over it until they give you like the physical visa, of which they have to give you like, for our year 2023, they had to give us before the 7th of
September.
Yes, 7th of September.
Because they ran out of visas.
I think so, yes. I think they did, yes.
They had given the 55,000, so they were just like, you know, just doing the last people.
Yes,
So your passport, you had to take your passport back when you took your medical. So when did you take your medical back? Do you remember the date, like approximate?
I don't remember the specific dates exactly, but I think it was like 2 weeks before like September 7th. Yes, before they closed. But because we had elections, they had to close like facilities. So they couldn't like continue processing. So that's how it extended.
So you just got lucky. God wanted you to be in America. Otherwise, you'd be over there in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I got so lucky because my visa was actually printed on the 6th of September, like one day before they actually closed. So I got very lucky.
So you got, so it was printed September 6th. So if it waited September 7th, that'll be it. Because a lot of people were turned away. They went for the interviews. They're like, no, we stopped processing. And now that's gone. Everything is gone. So you got lucky and you're here. So you got your visa. So when did you arrive in America? Even I forgot. I picked you up, but I don't remember. I picked up so many people, I don't even remember.
A lot of people. Yeah, true. I came in October, end of October 28th. Yeah, October 28th.
So October 28th, you landed in New York. Now look at you, glowing in New York City. Now when you go to Zimbabwe, you're a celebrity. You're like, hey guys, I don't do whatever you guys do over here. I don't speak Shona. Don't speak Shona-ish. I'm not Shona-ish anymore. Just speak to me in English.
In English only.
All right. So you arrived on the 20th of October.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are Zimbabwean. How did you meet me? Because like I'm way over there Kenyanish, right?
All right, so the same friend of mine again introduced me to NAFULA. They said, she said that there is a person on the internet that hosts people. She lives in New York. Her name is NAFULA. So that's how I came across you.
So that's how, and then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go to this random person. I don't know who they are. They're not from the same country, but I'm gonna take my chances.
Take my chances, and it paid off.
Okay, so you met, I remember you, I think we met, were you the one who sent me a message on Instagram or it was Geoffrey?
I did. Unfortunately, I didn't know of the website back then. The person just told me like the name. So the first place I went to search on was on Instagram because I don't really use Facebook. So I searched for the name on Instagram. That's when I sent you a message. So that's when you replied and told me that you have a website. You have to go and apply directly from the website.
Yeah, you have to apply directly from the website because we have to get a formal application. We don't do Instagram stuff because people scam people. Then I'll be like, send money here, send money. So we'll never reply to your inbox telling you to send money. You have to apply through the website first.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you arrived here October 28th, and then you arrived in New York. So what did you do after you arrived? Like what documents did you get first?
So when I arrived here in New York, first we went to get the social security. That's when we went to get the social security number, and yes, it came in less than a week.
Yeah, yours was quick.
It was very fast. It was very, very fast. We applied for it. It came in less than a week. So in less than a week, we got the social security number, and when you now have the social security number, you'll be all good to go. You'll be ready to apply for like a bank account. To apply for.
Oh, you have to go get your state ID first.
Yes, and the state ID.
Yeah, so you get your social, you get your state ID, you get a bank account.
Yes.
And then what else did you have to get? I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yes, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
But then you just need your social to apply for a job.
Yes, you just needed social security to apply for a job and for the
And you got your job pretty quick.
It was very fast. I think it was almost the same week that everything happened.
Yeah, everything. You got your social, got a job. Okay. So now tell us, like, okay, you got everything, you started working. Like, tell us about your experience now from, like, you are in Africa, different kind of mindset, different things about America. You just think America, people just get money off of trees. Now you are in New York where stuff happens. Now you're working, you're grinding. Tell us about your experience now.
Oh my goodness, it has been.
Yeah.
It has been, yep. It has been like a mixture of both good and the other side. First of all, I had to get used to the weather, which I am now. It's like not as severe as people make it seem though. And then that's one thing. Then about the work, I mean, it's work. People have to actually work.
It's work. I know. People think you'll just come to America and somebody just hands you money. People work really hard here. That's why when somebody asks you for money, you are like, money from where? Because I'm working, like, you work all the time.
Exactly, you'll be working for it. Yeah, when they say like land of milk and honey, yep, it is. That's true, but you actually have to go and milk the cow before you get it. But yeah, anyway, jokes aside. But the thing is, the good part is they've got like a lot of opportunities. That's what I like about him. Like a whole lot of opportunities that you would not ordinarily get from where I'm coming from. Like if you just decide to wake up and look for a job, it's very easy to find. If you just want to go to school, it's actually easy to apply. From the application process, it's easy. You get scholarships and stuff like that. So like it's a whole flow of things. You wouldn't get like headache over like something simple that you would but not be able to do like at home.
So it's easier.
It's easier, yes. And you actually work, then you get paid. Yes.
Yeah, if you don't work, you don't get paid. But if you put in your work,
Exactly.
you'll get the money. So tell us, like, from your experience, advising somebody who wants the green card lottery, they're coming to the US. They want to have their own apartment. Like if they're not going to be hosted by somebody who's going to help them, if they're going to have their own apartment, what do you think the challenges will be?
Like a whole lot of challenges. It will be a lot of challenges. I would say this from someone being hosted, from my own perspective, that it will be like a whole lot of challenges. First of all, getting an apartment here is not easy. Yeah, one, expensive. Two, most of them, they need like credit reports, I think, for you to get an apartment. So it will be very expensive to just come straight. And besides the whole credit report and apartments thing, you just need someone that will help you to like show you the way where to get the social security, like how to open a bank account, like how the order of things flow here in America.
How to catch a bus, how to take a bus, whatever you want to go to, how to use Uber, how to order Uber.
Exactly, like a lot of things. You need someone because you can't just come and then go straight to your apartment, or even just that transition. You need people around you because it's not easy to move from one whole country, leave your people, your family, everything that you've known, and move to another place. So you need like people around you. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's tough.
Then for I know this might be questionable, but this is also an advice that I would also give to people that have like children. Know that people, like a lot of hosts that say they do not host kids, know that they're being harsh on you. But the thing is, if you come here as a single person like I did, it's actually when you're starting off like the first 1-2 months, it's not easy to be like on your foot. Now imagine when you come and you have children.
And then you have a kid.
Yeah.
I love all of your kids, but I'm not going to host your kids. I can tell you right now. I have mine to worry about. Too much work. Too much work.
A lot to enroll them into school.
Yep. So they have to come and see, work the way you work, and see if they want kids around them.
Exactly.
And if they're ready to get their own kids, they can go back and get them.
Yes, you can just come here, work first, get stable, then you can bring your kids later. Because if you bring your kids with you, then same time, you will need like daycare for those kids to be watched while you're at work. Or fish to balance both, it will be like so difficult. So yeah. That's some of the advice I would give.
So, how can you talk about the social life over here? Like, you know, you've been in America, in Africa, you know, you just stop in somebody's house, you say, hey, what are you eating today, you know? So, how is the social life over here?
Here is like so different. It's so different. Everyone minds their own business.
Nobody cares about the neighbor.
Everyone minds their own business. You know, when I actually came from home, I was like, oh my goodness. First, I had to like put my mind towards like living in a neighborhood where most of them, they don't have like durables. Because in Africa, in Zimbabwe specifically, most of the houses we have like durables. So people like stay in their doors, but they'll still know what's happening like inside of your house.
There's always that one lady who knows everything about the neighborhood, right?
About everyone. And feels free to spread everything. So it's like a community environment. You feel like the whole community, everyone knows everyone. But here, like, yeah, everyone minds their own business. It's an open society, but everyone minds their own business. Like, you hardly know anyone. Like, I don't even know most of the neighbors.
I remember, like, Haruna was walking outside my house and my neighbor almost called the police on him because they thought he's a stranger. He's just walking around looking at the snow, and then somebody almost called the police on him because they haven't seen him in my house. So they're like, what is this guy doing over here? Yeah. So the socials, here making friends is hard because you're working all the time.
Most of the time you're working.
Yeah, and then just the social life, like you have to know somebody, get your schedules together to even go out, you know. In the summer, maybe, like when it's in the winter, pretty much nobody wants to go anywhere.
Go outside, yeah.
So do you encourage people who win the green card to come? Because some people are like, you know what, I don't wanna go because I don't know what to expect. So what would you tell people who are over there who won the green card? Is it worth it if they have good jobs over there?
Personally, for me, it's like 100% worth it. It's totally 100% worth it. If you really want to move, then you should go for it, because yeah, it's way much more better. It's 100%
yeah, the opportunities
and the opportunities are a lot.
For your kids, not just you, for your whole family. Like you, in 5 years, if you wanted to, you can bring your parents here.
True.
You know, or your siblings, they can come visit you. So you give them an opportunity to even come to America. You know.
Yes, it's totally true. Yeah.
All right. So what is the last thing you want to say before we close?
Last thing, nothing. Anyone with any questions can just leave them down.
If you have any questions, put it in the comment section, and then we'll probably do one last video and answer all those questions.
Yes.
I know mostly they ask about the education level.
Yes.
That's the most asked questions, and about the medical and where to go and the interview, which I think we did a pretty good job. So if you're watching this video, the first video, we have 3 more videos that you need to watch. So go find them and then get caught up with the speed, right?
King of series, yes.
All right, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully we'll interview you to see, like, when you buy a house, probably, right? Yes. When you be loaded enough, right? Because I know she's been busy. I can't get a hold of her to interview. So yeah,
finally, yes,
finally it's here. So you guys have been asking, hopefully you got your questions answered. And to apply for hosting, you can just go on your Google browser, and then you're just gonna Google NAFULA Connect. So you Google nafulaconnect.com, and then after you Google nafulaconnect.com, it brings you to the landing page. And to apply for hosting, it's very easy because you can apply on any of these pages here. So on the landing page, it says, welcome to NAFULA Connect, and then a little blurb about, what we do here. And then when you go down the page, you come down here, it says apply for hosting. So if you want, you can just click here. It says click to apply for hosting. And then once you click here, it just brings you to this page here. And then this page here, it says, like, we're not providing a bit of support at this time because we are not doing that because we don't have any sponsors. But then you see, like, the people that we've been hosting. So you can meet a few people that, we're currently hosting in New York. And then if you come down here, it says DV lottery winner sign up. So this is a form that if you win the green card lottery, this is the first thing you should be doing, completing this form so that we get your application so that you can get in line. So here you just come to DV lottery winner sign up, and it asks you, have you won the DV lottery? Usually only if you win the green card lottery, then you apply for this hosting. Otherwise, because if you've not won the green card lottery, even if you apply, we'll just void your application. So there's no point. So you just, say yes, and then you put your first name, last name, and all these required fields. You see the ones that says required, you have to enter something there. The most important thing, we'll need a confirmation number, and then we'll need a case number, because only DV lottery winners get this number. So to distinguish between somebody who's just applying to apply and somebody who really needs hosting, I know I need to see the confirmation number and your case number. So that way I know you won the green card lottery. And that way I know, like, even if I get in touch with you, you're not just wasting my time. I know you are somebody who needs a hosting versus just somebody who's coming on a visitor's visa or somebody who's just applying for this form without winning the green card lottery. So everything else is important, but then your name, your country where you're from, and then your confirmation number, we need that information. Also with your case number, I need to look at that to see when you'll be scheduled to see like what is the approximate time you'll be arriving in the United States. So if I have to set up hosting, I know like what's your case number so that to help me plan accordingly. So you can apply for hosting there. So that's how you apply for hosting.